welcome to the HCW show, where today we're looking at, once again, the UK Indy Spotlight. I'm your host, DP, and for those wondering, where is Frozzy, where's RGX, where's Rate, they are all currently in Cardiff at the moment, which is why they are not here at the moment. So hopefully they enjoy what they're doing, and I'm sure we'll get some content on the channel soon regarding that. But back to this. This is the UK Indie Spotlight, and today I am going to be going over the latest show that I've been to, which was Progress Wrestling's Chapter 139, Warriors Come Out to Play. Typically, we start off with describing the environment. So, as soon as you enter the venue, the Electric Ballroom in Camden, you're greeted by security, as you expect. But as soon as you get in, you see the typical setting. If you've been there before, you've seen the hardwood floor, the balconies above, the bars, the merch stalls. Like, you walk through, you see a merch stall almost instantly. You're greeted. I mean, last time I went to Progress was 2019. But when you get into the venue, like, you're still queuing to get your ticket checked, you're greeted by Lee, and I could be saying this wrong, his surname, McAteer, who is one of the owners of Progress for the last year or so. I think last couple of years, actually. But he's actually there, and he's thanking everyone for attending, thanking everyone for getting themselves involved, getting a ticket, and coming on down to Camden. Which I thought was a nice touch. I thought it was nice for the owner themselves to get themselves in front of the fans and saying hi, shaking hands, again, thanking everyone for being there. After looking around the merch stalls, there was a couple of people out. So there was Derice was out, and so was Eddie Dennis. I got a picture of him, went back to the merch stalls, had a look around, spoke to a few fans, and before we knew it, it was time for the show to get started. So, going into the card, we start things off with the first match of the night, which was for the Progress Atlas Championship. Champion Luke Jacobs taking on man like Derice. So this was instantly a match where you chose a side. Like, both men were severely loved by the crowd. There was a lot of divide chants. We had 0-1-2-1 chants, which is the Derice's 0-1, Lucrece 2-1. We had Jacobs chants for Jacobs, where mentioned a lot of Northwest Strong. Is the Atlas champion? There's a lot of chants going both sides. But yeah, so going into the match itself, it was a very good match. So we kick things off with a lockup. We get Derice in early control, but not for long, with 0-1-2-1 stomps. So he'll stomp with the 0-1-2-1, 0-1-2-1 in that pattern. We then get a shoulder tackle from Derice, but then we start seeing Jacobs come back into it with a big boot and a body slam, followed with the center. So he body slams him and then throws himself onto the body back first. Then we go straight to the outside. This took maybe like 5 minutes in the match itself before we went to the outside. Then we get the spot that I'm noticing a lot happens with Luke Jacobs matches, where he'll set someone up against the ring post, and in this case Derice, and he'll go for the chop. So he'll go to chop them while they're against the ring post. He goes for that, chops, Derice ducks, smack. His hand just whacks the ring post, and you hear the noise, like the full-on metal noise of flesh on steel. But we get back into the ring at this point, where Derice is now in control again, and he gets a blockbuster from the corner to get a 2 count. Again, we get a little more back and forth, but a dropkick from Derice sends Jacobs down, but he gets straight back up and hits a lariat on Derice. Both men are down. The chants are coming in now from the crowd saying, "This is Progress," and then the claps. We get them both back on their feet again. We get a strike exchange. Darius wins with a big chop. We get a strike exchange, which is won by Darius until a big chop comes in from Jacobs. We get an exchange of powerbomb attempts, where Darius actually hits his. He won a match at Riot Cabaret with a powerbomb. So I thought that might have been it then. But no, 1, 2, kick out. Jacobs is still in it. We then get Darius following the powerbomb attempt with the 450 splash, which also gets a 2 count. We then get what was a very odd, very surreal sort of moment, because I forgot how involved the crowd can get at Progress. So they go to the outside again. Jacobs is telling people to move, so we know something's coming. And he's in control again at this point, Jacobs, and he gets Darius in the fireman's carry position, and he literally runs with Darius on his shoulders into the chairs with a Death Valley driver, which looked insane. Like, I can't even begin to explain it. It was an amazing looking move, and it looked extremely painful. But after that, he recovers, brings Darius back into the ring, and gets the body sleeper on Darius, which makes Darius submit. Overall, this was a fantastic match. Both men were equal in almost every way in regards to, their strikes and their holds. It was exactly the kind of match you'd expect to see from these two. It was hard hitting, fast paced, there was high flying. There's a bit of everything you could have from what I think are two of the best young and upcoming talents in the UK and perhaps even the world of wrestling. After that, we move on to the next match, which is between the greatest wrestler to walk planet Earth, Tate Mayfairs, taking on the Gene Money champion of the Gene Money Championship. Gene Money, if you didn't follow on from that. So yeah, this is Gene Money versus Tate Mayfairs. We get instant chants from the crowd saying Mayfairs is not their favourite. I can't say the word they used, but you can imagine. Let's say it rhymes with banker. So Mayfairs is a banker. It rhymes with that. We get competing corner spots, so they both, get onto the ring ropes on the second rope, and they chant or they taunt, for the crowd. Gene's moreover, as you'd expect. When we start off with a lockup, which seems to be the norm, but after this, Gene gives a very loud audible when he says, "Make me effing wrestle, Tate." Shortly afterwards, Gene is still in control of the match, but he has Tate down and he leaves the ring and takes a victory lap. So he literally arms up, he's running around the ring. We get a few more things from Tate. He takes Gene's title, he poses with it. We get Gene hitting Tate with a through the rope spear. Gene hits a powerbomb for 2. We get a spot that I wrote here was heavily inspired by Cactus Jack. So again, my section of the crowd are asked to move. So Tate's on the outside. He's been laid on some chairs. So there's like 2 or 3 chairs he's just sort of laying back on. And we get a wind-up sort of like diving elbow drop from Gene. So he's on the apron by the corner. He runs and then jumps off the apron, elbow drop onto Tate on the chairs on the hardwood floor. This was very dangerous and it looked like it hurt a lot. While Tate's recovering and Gene is on his feet, the lights go out. You hear like this weird like audio tinkering, and we hear this voice. It goes like, "Hey, Gene Money." It's a poor impression, but on the screen is it's Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona is talking about how custom titles are his thing. G Money has his own custom title. He shouldn't have a custom title, and he basically challenges Gene to a future match at some point. There's no at this point. There's no acknowledgement from Gene, other than sort of like a I'll fight it whenever, but there's no official announcement or anything like that. During this time in the Lights Out, we see Tate sort of stumbling around, but he's in the corner of the ring at this point, and he's hunched over by something, and he's got a pair of brass knucks attached to his knuckles, and he goes to hit Gene with them, but Gene thwarts that. Gene stops that from happening, which eventually distracts the ref as well, because the ref has to throw out the brass knucks or put them away or whatever. And during that time, Tate grabs the G Money title, the G Money Championship, and he whacks Gene over the head with it. And then he goes for the pin on Gene against the 1, 2, 3. Tate Mayfairs has beaten Gene Money. So overall thoughts for this match were this was a great match. It was a different kind of match from the first one, but it was still just as enjoyable. Tate has definitely shown that Tateness is indeed greatness, which is his catchphrase. Both guys are definitely guys to keep your eyes on in the Brit Rest scene. I'll be saying that a lot, I think, but both of these guys, especially Tate, like Gene, is already he's well known, he's well established within the British scene, but Tate is someone who, as far as I'm aware, isn't that necessarily well known, but he is definitely someone for the future. He's definitely someone who I could see in a National Progression series, someone who I could see winning a title soon, but that was that match. Moving on, we get the first gimmick match of the night, the straight jacket match, where the rules are: to win, you must put your opponent in a straight jacket, and you must fasten up the back. Whatchamacallit? You must straighten up you must lock in the straps and the buckles and whatever, and fully the person must be in a straight jacket fully to be declared the loser. So, start things off in this match. We are revealed to a white mannequin by ringside, by the entranceway, which has the words "Die Lana Die" on it. For reference, this match is between Raven Creed and Lana Austin. So, there you go. So Raven comes out. She's really over with the crowd. We then are followed up by Raven getting told that Lana is not here tonight, which a lot of the crowd are instantly against, and they turn already. But it's revealed that Lana is somewhere getting sushi. This causes Raven to go backstage. She goes backstage, and then we see on the screens the follow-up from this. So we see Raven walking out of the venue, walking along the Camden High Street in her gear, no less. Walking along the Camden High Street in her gear, goes to a nearby restaurant where she sees Lana Austin eating down on some sushi. Both women are in gear here, which I thought was a bit odd, I suppose, but I suppose for the sakes of continuity it makes more sense that way. But both women are in their gear. She's eating sushi in her gear. Raven's just walked through the high street in her gear. She grabs Lana and drags her back to the venue for the match. The first few 2 minutes or so is just Lana running away from Raven. Raven's quite scary, to be honest. So we get a few spots here where Lana thinks she's safe, but Lana thinks she's safe, but Raven crawls under the ring to grab at Lana's legs. And it's at this point Raven gets control of the match, where she's basically got Lana where she wants her. and puts her in the corner in a seated position before hitting two round the house, like round the ring, drop kicks onto her. And this is at this point, Raven gets the straitjacket and is about to start putting it on Lana, but Lana breaks free. We get a bit of a tug of war between both of them, arguing over who should have the jacket, as if it makes a difference. But at this point, Lana has the upper hand, uses the jacket, throws it at her, and takes control of the match with a clothesline. She hits a rope-hung DDT on Raven, which is I thought was a bit like, a bit Randy Orton inspired, kind of. We get a spinning lariat from Lana, who then goes for a pin, which admittedly would get a free, but it's not how you win this match. You need to put your opponent in a straitjacket. So she does that. Raven gets back in control at this point, where she hits her with a headbutt, and then she's playing around with Lana's arm and limbs. So she's stretching, twisting the limbs and the ligaments and the fingers and the phalanges and whatever. Then we get Raven with a full body choke. So similarly to Luke Jacobs, it's a full body choke which drains the energy out of Lana. Lana's out, so Raven starts getting the straitjacket. And she goes to start putting her arms in. And we thought, okay, so the match is over then. It has to be over, right? But no, we are interrupted by Sky Smithson, who comes out, attacks Raven Creed, and just lays out Raven, and then puts the jacket on Raven, straightening it, fastening the buckles and the locks, whatever, and then letting Lana do the last one. Because that way then Lana would, be involved in that decision. Lana then just fastens the last bit. He is the winner of this straitjacket match. Following the match, it's just a case of Sky Smithson is now Lana Austin's new best friend. So they hang out and they leave together. My overall thoughts for this match were, it was a very different kind of match again. Both of them having very different goals and aspirations for the match, where, Lana didn't want any part of it, but Raven wanted fully to, destroy Lana. With Sky now getting involved in this, it's clear that the whole Raven and Lana thing is not over, so there's still a lot more to come from this. We'll probably be seeing Raven and Sky at some point. Potentially you may see some sort of tag match between Sky and Lana against Raven and someone else. But yeah, until then, this is all we're getting, and we will see where it continues onwards from there. Following on from this, we get a small segment from the host, Simon Miller, who's known for What Culture, also being a wrestler himself. But he comments on Charles Crowley, who has been missing lately. I'll put a picture up somewhere on the screen. But in the ballroom, there are these posters, which basically just say, like, have you seen this man, this particular twat? And it has, like, this weird sort of cipher to it, to sort of work out where he is. I don't know fully what's coming from that, but that's something that's just referenced, and Miller just throws one of the flyers to one of the fans in the front row. Following on from that, we get the fourth match of the night. We get A. Dennis against the Son of Nothing, Maggot. Maggot is of WXW fame, so if you don't watch that, you probably won't know who Maggot is. Or if you watch Progress, you'll probably know who he is from that, but you won't know unless you watch WXW or Progress. Aiden, this is given a royal welcome by the fans. This is his return to the ballroom, his return to Progress since Chapter 100, which was conveniently the last time I was also at Progress. So, do with that as you will. I mean, am I Eddie? Is he me? Probably not, but yeah, last shows for both of us were Chapter 100. Yeah, so as I said, Eddie's given a royal welcome But the fans, everyone's partying hard, which is his theme and his thing right now. Maggot is a little jealous of the fans' welcome, so he sort of demands a little bit for himself. So we have a chant, so we're like, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie effing Dennis, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie effing Dennis. And then, what might be the most comedic part of the night for me, we have Maggot, who, obviously his name is not suited for that sort of chant, but he starts the chant, or tries to anyway, at first, where he goes, Maggot, Maggot, Maggot effing Maggot, 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 Maggot effing Maggot. After this little back and forth between crowd chants, we get into the match itself. There's firing on all cylinders where Maggot goes over the top rope. So he throws Eddie out the ring, does a tope over the rope onto Dennis. And then we get back in the ring, but Dennis is in control of the match with a limb lock. He goes for a cradle as well on Maggot and only gets a 2 count. We get a stall-in suplex from Dennis onto Maggot, so holds him in the air for a few seconds before dropping him. Maggot does a Lufez press. We get multiple corner mounted punches from Maggot before he bites Dennis in the neck. Dennis hits a sidewinder for 2. Maggot avoids a razor's edge attempt, so the whole thing like that's what Hall used to do. He avoids the razor's edge and he hits Eddie with a drop kick. And then Eddie eventually hits his finisher for the 3 count. Post-match, we get a promo from Eddie Dennis, where he basically just expresses gratitude for the fans, for the ballroom, for progress. He mentions the current world champion, Big Damo, and that he's one of the most talented individuals in wrestling, and that he's one of the most, prolific individuals been produced by the ballroom in a decade, and that Dan Maloney, his challenger later on, is also exactly the same as another prospect and another person of extreme interest from the ballroom and what they've produced. Dennis mentions that he never lost his world title. He was forced to vacate it, but he never actually lost it. So he mentions that Cardiff is in 7 days. As we're recording this, it is today, happening in about 2 hours from now. I can't be there, naturally, but unfortunately, there's no one from HCW who's going to be at that show. But, he mentions in 7 days, progress in Cardiff for chapter 140, and he wants to be fighting the world champion, whoever that may be, Big Damo or Dan Maloney. And then after that, music plays again, and we party hard again, and then we see him go back to the back. Overall thoughts on this match, it was a very good match, absolutely. Both men got a chance to showcase what they can do. Both men got a chance to showcase their characters as well. Interaction with the fans as well. Everything was just great. But it'll be the main point of this match was to get Dennis sort of out of the ring rust, get him looking forward to the future, which will be a Progress title match, should it be approved by Progress Management, against Big Damo or Dan Maloney, depending on who won in the main event. And that was the end of the first half of the show. Going into the second half, I'm not sure when they mentioned it, if it was post-show or during the halfway point, I don't fully recall, but they do confirm that Gene Money will be fighting Matt Cardona at Chapter 141, Handshakes and Cheeseburgers, at the Electric Ballroom in Camden. So that's something to look forward to. But again, we start off with the host in the second half, Simon Miller, where he just talks about the next match coming up, which is going to be for the Progress Tag Team Championships. However, before we get there, we get a interruption from Lycos Gym, which is Kid Lycos and Kid Lycos 2. Basically, they just say that no one gives a damn about this tag title match. Kid Lycos tells Lycos 2 to just tell the fans what they think or what's going to happen, and he metaphorically defecates in the ring, not literally. Lacos talks about Cooper and Mambo, saying how Mambo is the weak link in the team and that Cooper is a long-term friend of his, so he knows Cooper won't mess it up, but he's afraid that Mambo will. And Lacos will say that that both of them will fight Sunshine Machine at a future date for the Progress World titles, because they're fighting the Greedy Souls to determine who will be fighting Sunshine Machine at a future date. Simon then cuts him off because at this point they're saying how they're going to fight Sunshine Machine at Chapter 141. But it's revealed that Simon actually has an announcement, and that is that Kid Lycos himself will be fighting against an American at Chapter 141. He'll be fighting the bad boy Joey Janela. And I'll put the graphic somewhere in the ethos. We get the next match of the night, which is for the Progress Tag Team Championships. CPF, the close personal friends, Danny Black and Joe Lando, taking on the champions, Sunshine Machine, TK Cooper and Chuck Mambo. Which, for those of you who don't know, I am a massive fan of Sunshine Machine. They are potentially... No, not potentially. They are my favourite tag team in the British wrestling scene. Yeah, I love a match between Machine and like FTR or something like that. Just give me what I want, wrestling. Okay, just, like give me Sunshine Machine, give me FTR, Sunshine Machine, Lucha Brothers. You know, like. But yeah, sorry. CPF, Sunshine Machine, tag titles on the line. We start things off with CPF taking control early. Joe Lando tries a headlock, which don't work, on Cooper. We get a lot of fast moves back and forth between both teams, where TK has the advantage now. We get a series of rope-assisted springboards, which gives CPF the upper hand. We get a very dangerous spot on the apron where TK hits a strong zero on Danny Black. We then have back in the ring where Sunshine Machine have control over Joe Lando, but Joe fights back with a German snap suplex. We then get the wheelbarrow assisted back suplex from Sunshine Machine onto Joe Lando. Then we get an arm trapped face lock from TK on Joe. We then get a rope assisted backbreaker followed by springboard moonsaults, thanks to Sunshine Machine again. We then get a spot because Danny Black's now back in the match, and he's being pinned by TK and Chuck, I believe. But Joe Lando comes back and he brings up the pin with a shooting star splash. We then get Danny Black kicking out on multiple tag signature moves. We get a Spanish fly from the second rope on Mambo from Lando. We get a small suplex into TK from Mambo with Mambo. So they just suplex TK into Mambo. We then get a bit towards the end of this match where CPF got the pin on Mambo and TK just kicks Lando in the face to pick up the pin. And then we get Sunshine Machine hitting their tag finisher and picking up the 1, 2, 3. Still, Progress Tag Champions, Sunshine Machine. And I've got to say, overall thoughts, I thought this was a show stealer. Altogether, this was a show stealer, absolutely. We had a lot of innovative offense from both teams, and CPF gave Sunshine Machine a real run for their money. I feel like Sunshine Machine were the clear favourites to win this match, but CPF did put on a fantastic show. It'll be exciting to see what they do in the future. But right now, that's not be the Progress Tag Champions, because that is Cooper and Mambo, the Sunshine Machine. All I've got here written down is the well-tuned Sunshine Machine were able to pick up the win and keep the titles. That's it for that match. We move on now to the next match where we have another member of CPF, Callum Newman, taking on AEW's own Anthony Ogogo. So we start things off here with a lockup. Callum Newman uses a lot of fancy footwork, high fly moves, top rope moves, springboard moves to try and get upper hand. We get some chain wrestling from both of them. We've got Callum focusing on the speed to get the upper hand, whereas Ogogo focuses more on technique and also strength. We get a series of suplexes from Ogogo. We then get some fighting in the crowd. So they go to the outside by the ring ramp, and Ogogo is down. Callum is setting up for something, so he runs. So he comes back towards us, and he runs at Ogogo, and Ogogo just suplexes him in a back body drop and just suplexes him into the chairs. It looks nasty. We then get back into the ring where we get a triangle choke on Newman from Ogogo. We then get a handspring German suplex. So a handspring, jump over Ogogo, German suplex. That gets a 2 count. And then Ogogo hits the Tower of London, which gets a 3 count. So Anthony Ogogo wins this match. Following on from the match, we get Ogogo, who just mentions that Callum Newman is one for the future. I fully agree. But he's cut off by Costa Constantino, who is the manager for Malik. He comes out, he accosts Ogogo, and then he claims that Malik is better than Ogogo in a wrestling ring. At this point, we get Ogogo taking the mic from Costas, and we all thought at this point that Ogogo was going to punch Costa in the face. But before he could, Malik comes in from behind and it attacks Ogogo by low blowing him. He and Costa attack Ogogo, and they lay the British flag on top of Ogogo. They both leave with smiles on their face. Ogogo's still in the ring with the flag over his body. We get overall thoughts for this match. I thought here Ogogo was the clear favourite, but Newman did hang over Ogogo and even tested Ogogo. And I personally think Ogogo has a newfound respect for Newman, or a newfound appreciation. Newman is absolutely a star for the future, so keep your eyes on him. But we also have Ogogo, who's one of those guys who's consistently improving himself to be better for companies, better for the fans, better for himself. Absolutely. So moving on from this, we have the penultimate match of the night for the Progress Women's Championship. Laura Di Matteo taking on the champion Kanji. Both women have got a very heated rivalry. Laura won their last match by DQ when she made Kanji attack her with a chair. Like, literally, Kanji had the chair in hand, Laura's pulling on Kanji, she lets go of Kanji hits her with a chair by accident, and then that caused a DQ. So Laura won that match, but not the title. But we're now at this point where Kanji wants to basically just win clean, and Laura wants to win the title from Kanji. To start things off in the match, we have both of them making their entrances, and Laura actually jumps Kanji in the ring, and they have to be separated by security. When the match finally gets started, we get a big boot, lariat, a roll through kick from Kanji for 2 count. We then get an armbar that's stopped by a rope break. Very fast paced action to start things off between these two women. We get an STO from Laura to Kanji in the corner. We get a lot of back and forth between the two of them. Laura attempts a landslide, but is countered by Kanji's catapult to the corner. We get a spot where Kanji is under the bottom rope, and Laura pulls her by the arm, pulls her face directly into the bottom rope. We get a tiger feint kick, which is the 619, to the corner from Kanji onto Laura. We get a forearm to Mateo's head. We get a sequence between the two where both of them exchange strikes, and eventually Kanji lands a stiff kick which stops Laura in her tracks. We get a springboard DDT from Laura Di Matteo for a 2 count. We then get a spot that I can't explain in my head. Like, I've tried for a few days now. Di Matteo is in control, and she leaves the ring, and she pulls out several chairs from under the ring. She pulls them out and then throws them in the ring, and there's just like somewhere between maybe 6 to 8 chairs just laying in the ring for no reason. After she does this, we have a code breaker from Laura, but Kanji's able to come back with a back elbow to Laura. Now at this point, Laura's on her knees, and Kanji has a chair. And Laura is full on begging Kanji to hit her with a chair. Because obviously if Kanji was to hit her with a chair, she'd lose the title. She doesn't in the end. Kanji hits a submission hold, which she then transitions into a cattle mutilation, into a series of elbow strikes, then into a body sleeper, and a body scissors triangle, which is enough to make Di Matteo tap. Post-match, we have Laura holding onto the title before she hands it off to Kanji, recognizing that Kanji is in fact the true champion of Progress. Overall thoughts of this match, these two had a brilliant match. While there were questionable tactics used, there was definitely a sense of mutual respect between the two of them. But this was a very enjoyable match, put on by two women who clearly had a fire under them to really put on a show and really outdo themselves from the last time they fought. So after that, we move into the main event of the night for the Progress World Championship between Big Damo, the champion, defending against Dan Maloney. Both men make their entrances and the bell rings and we get a spear. Instantly a spear from Dan Maloney for a 2 count. Then we go to the outside of the ring. We get exchanges of strikes on the outside. We then get a huge senton from Damo onto Maloney on the outside of the ring. We then get an apron suplex from Damo, so he drags Maloney back into the ring via suplex. We then get another exchange of strikes on the inside of the ring. We get a body slam from Damo, followed by another senton. We get more strikes. Maloney can't get much damage on Damo, but Damo fights back with something stronger. So Damo fights with a lot of forearms and elbows, but they're a lot stronger than what Maloney can hand out. Maloney's able to lift Damo for some suplexes, and he does so. He hits him with a couple of times with a suplex. Damo then hits a corner spring splash for 2. We then get a series of strikes from Damo to Maloney in the corner. We then get Maloney able to reverse a powerbomb from Damo and stomps on Damo in that transition. So powerbomb, reversed out, stomp onto Damo. We then get an exchange of running strikes between the two of them. And Maloney hits a driller. Maloney just hit his finisher on Big Damo, the champion. He goes for the pin. Biggest moment of his life. 1, 2, smash. Out of nowhere, a glass bottle smashes against the head of Dan Maloney. There's someone who's come from under the ring, someone who is in a Progress hoodie. They're just there, and they smash Dan's head with a glass bottle. Dan falls off the pin. DQ is called. The person in the hood reveals themselves. It's Spike Trivet, the winner of the Thunder Bastard match back in July, and he nails Damo with 12 chair shots. 12 single chair shots with the back of the chair and the top of the chair as well, like digging it into him. And it's at this point where he reveals the key he got for winning the Thunder Bastard match, which allows him a title shot against any champion in Progress. And it's similar to the Money in the Bank, but he cashes it in, the key, and the bell rings. Pin. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Your new champion, Spike Trivet. Not Damo retaining, not Maloney winning. Spike Trivet is your new Progress World Champion because he cashed in and took the opportunity from Maloney. This instantly turns the crowd sour. He wins the title. He's holding the title high above his head, and the crowd are booing the everlasting stuff out of him. and he leaves the ring. He's walking around the crowd. He's taunting him his title, and he's knocking drinks out of hands as well. Like, people are holding their drinks out, and for what reason I don't know, but they're holding drinks out, and he just whacks them out of their hands. Like, these full-on glasses of drinks, he just whacks them, and yeah, that was the majority of the stuff that happened, and he leaves the venue with Maloney and Damo still just in the ring or outside of the ring. Overall thoughts for me. While Spike took the title and the opportunity, it took away from the match itself between Damo and Maloney, but at the same time it added a lot to Spike's stock and Spike's character. This was almost the perfect time for him to cash in. And he took advantage of the opportunity when it presented itself. It does seem that we'll be getting Spike Trivet Dennis in Cardiff for the world title, which, graphic somewhere, is happening. I couldn't tell you who's going to win that match. I would assume Trivet wins by dastardly means, but we'll see. But yeah, that was Progress Chapter 139. Warriors come out to play. Overall, this was a fantastic show. This is, as I said before, this was my first Progress show in about 3 years. So it was nice to come back and to the ballroom, and it was nice to reassociate myself with what is Progress. On that note, I will be attending future Progress shows as well, so look out for those reviews on the channel when they come out. We've got another review that I did previously coming out soon as well, so keep an eye out for that. We've got various other things happening. We've also got the guys' Cardiff stuff coming out, so by the time that this is on YouTube, you'll probably already have seen it. But if not, then it's still coming. But yeah, that was Progress Chapter 139, Warriors Come Out to Play. I've been DP, and don't forget to check out all our socials in the description below, and our Twitter is the HCW Show. That is with a W because we are British. And yeah, that's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from only me, because I'm the only one here today. Catch you guys later. Peace.